All right, live piano practice. We're breaking down more of Skinny Love. I'm calling it the first look again because it's at least been like 2 weeks since I've done piano. So it's going to be a little refresher. I'm going to try to actually not move on to anything else until I get this song done. A new focus that I'm trying to do throughout doing these videos. Obviously, I wrapped up Blackbird, I think 2 weeks ago on guitar. Was doing some drum stuff for a student. I have some recitals coming, so I'm just working hard on stuff for them to make sure I'm focused and giving them material that they can use. Anyway, that's my long speech. If you guys want to help support us making more of these videos, become a member at musicbythemeasurespro.com. We appreciate your support. You guys then get to tell us what songs you want video breakdowns for. We get suggestions in the comments all the way, and whenever anybody suggests something, I go, sweet. It'll be at least 3 weeks, but if you're a member, it'll be 1 week. We'll write that sheet music right away. We'll get it to you guys. So we enjoy doing this. It's what I would like to do every day, all day, is practice and chat online. So if you guys have anything about piano you want to chat about, let's try to keep it piano specific. Sometimes I'm doing a piano video and then everyone's like, hey, what about drums? Hey, what about xylophone? And I'm like, bro, piano. But I'll talk about anything. It makes practice a little bit more fun when you guys are hanging out as well. All right, so I remember parts of this. I was looking at it a little bit before I even got started. Our right hand is doing this G sharp, C sharp, E. And even though I've done this and I have the idea of this, anytime that you get to reiterate it, it's one of the nice things about teaching, right? The more I say this 100 times, the more it gets stuck in my head. The more I think about that second line up being a G sharp, the more that innately, it becomes an innate thing in my brain, a process. So we're also doing the little squiggly line, the pigtail, you could call it. And then that E. So we got G sharp. Uh-oh, that stream is not doing well. All right, we'll see if that rebounds. G sharp, C sharp, E. 2 beats. All we change is add an A, replace the G sharp. And then we go back to the G sharp and we add a B. Whoops. Oh, then we have that little D sharp passing tone. So our left hand is starting on a C sharp, up to an E. Nope, I can't read today. C sharp, A, E. C sharp, A, E. So when we put those together, now there's a bunch of pedal going throughout. I'm adding that in last. That's going to be one of the last things I think about. I just want to get everything else down first, get the notes down, get the rhythms down, and then go from there. 2, 3, 4. Cool. Let's do that with metronome. Full speed is 54, or no, 74. We're going to start at 54. 3 and 4 and 1. Oh, I keep forgetting that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. All right, so then we're jumping right away to the second one, starting the same way. 2, 3, 4. Let me try something in a minute. My one stream's failing a little bit. I'm going to move my phone and see if that'll help it do a little bit better. Because it usually streams. Yeah, big difference already. It usually streams better than that. All right, starts the same. Then when we're holding that E, we play this little thing. We got this D sharp, G sharp. Now, what I've messed up on before, right? It's not trading off. It's keeping that D sharp down, adds that G sharp, then it finally ditches those two notes. So we got that E. Yep, so we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Let's take that from the C sharp. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yeah, just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect either. I'm being picky. You know, I always think like if I'm demonstrating to a student or doing these videos, I want to be very picky. I want it to be finite. Like, hey, this is how it should sound. And then you guys can copy that idea, right? If I'm sloppy, I'm just going to teach you how to be sloppy. And sometimes I am sloppy. So, you know, it's knowing that and cleaning it up. 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and, or 3 and 4, 3 and 4 and 3 and 2, 3. All right, we'll jump in this next time. 3 and 4 C sharp, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back. Again, like if you can make practice this kind of meditative state. Now, that doesn't mean you're good at practice, but it means you can just do this idea over and over again. That's my ambition. That's my goal. And then as I'm sliding in and out of like thinking about different things about like, all right, really watch your timing. Okay, am I getting a nice legato sound between these chords? Well, that one I had a little bit early of a lift. You can start being picky about those things because you've practiced it 100 times. Cool. Let's do that 2 more times, 4 more times. Since this is kind of a review day, let's just put this all together at 54 and just, see how we feel about that. Yeah. 2, 3, 4. Little stretch. I'm kind of warming up to my day. It's only 1:40, so just kind of getting rolling. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... 1, Cool. Just like that. All right. So verse 1. Felt like, obviously, I got verse 1 to 52 out of 74. So, you know, it's like a B. Let's just slow it down a little bit and think through these areas. Let's go 48. So the first measure we're just going to ignore. The only difference is we're playing, you know, we're just coming right down on the chord versus that little bit of a roll. Oops. Sometimes that gets hardwired. 3 and 4. There we go. Then let's just do right hand a minute. So this is that third measure of the verse. We got the C sharp minor again, A, then B, A to E chord, same E chord we've been using, E chord we've been using throughout. And then we're going 3 and 4, and that's going D sharp, G sharp, B, G sharp. So let's just run through that, get this passage down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Do that with metronome. That one's not too hard. I say that, but then the first time I ever played it, it was bad, I'm sure. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. So the left hand's just doing this. Oops, not in time though. 1, 2, 3. So it's pretty slow, right? Together. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Cool. We're just going to get a bunch of these ideas going today, and then, you know, next 3 or 4 days work on just putting it all together. All right, so we got this, and again, they're using almost using every note out of the chord, right? That A had that B in there, so it's kind of a passing tone, but like the C sharp is going E, G sharp, C sharp, G sharp. And then A, C sharp, E, A. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so some of this is coming back to me obviously. So B and with our thumb, E, G sharp. Let's just get those two on a loop and try to hear that timing, because I'm not doing it at 54 or 48. I'm doing it a little bit faster than that. You're just really trying to hear that rhythm, even at that slow tempo. Like if I can play this over and over again at 48, I'm going to understand that rhythm at a faster tempo. All right, we'll try to go both hands. See how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. There's a huge advantage too of like playing this like 3 weeks ago or whatever the hell it was and coming back to it. Like I don't have to learn everything from scratch. I got a couple of the ideas already in my head, and then it's just refine, make it better. It's a good way to practice. Another good way to practice is not move on to different things. So you could argue. Maybe a better way to practice is like you do it to burnout, whether that be 5 or 6 days in a row. Really let the concepts become a part of you, and then ignore it for 2 weeks. Not half learn it, half move on, half come back. This next part always trips me up. We got this E, and I'm pretty sure that's an A. E, F, G. Yeah, it's an A. One, two, three, four. While our left hand. Oh, see, I'm just going to cheat. There's no reason to think too hard. Yeah, so it's an F sharp and then a third above that, so it's an A sharp. Oh, yeah, it's that high. Oh, duh, I could have probably thought that out. Anyway. So a lot of that's moving from that E chord before that. Just want to get comfortable with that idea. Let me change one little thing in my sound. I need a little bit more piano in my life. Bum bum. Let's try that. All right, so I like this idea of practice transition because it's pretty shit last time I did this. So we got this. And just worry about one hand at a time. Yeah, we'll keep the 48. It's a little slow, but it's easier to go slow. So we'll do a couple right hand, and then we'll do a couple left hand. So just kind of have them both ready to go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's wrong though. Maybe that. F sharp and A. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So the wheels have to turn a lot for me to think about E, right? And I'm coming from playing it like this. I just have to get used to that idea. That's the extent of my playing both hands together. So there is no reason that you can't do this over and over again without metronome. Build understanding. that 5 or 6 times in a row. Then put metronome to it. Then put metronome to it. And mistakes might happen. But do it without metronome, do it with metronome, eventually it'll come together. And 2 and 3 and 4 and... One more time. Cool. So let's do the same idea, right? If we're going. So from that E, we're going back to this C sharp minor chord. While our left hand's gonna go to this. Probably ignore our left hand for a second. And then we just have this little run, this. Now, I think what gets me is just that control of my first finger to get that B perfect. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of try to do a bunch of these. Now, while I'm doing this, I might as well think about the timing. 4E and 4E and trying to keep those 3 guys going in time. Da 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 da. Now, the next thing I want to do is little push-ups. Okay, so it's 3. So we're going to press everyone down. Now, I felt the minute I pressed down, I put a lot of tension in my hand. I don't want to play with tension, so I don't want to practice with tension either. But I kind of want this guy, the little pinky, to do some jumps, some push-ups on his own. And that you can already tell, like, that first finger doesn't want to move the same way. I say first finger, but I'm teaching piano. So really the second finger via piano. Oh, I'm totally skipping a note, wasn't I? There's a C sharp in there. So it's all 4 of those, or all 5 of those pressed down. Pinky. A little difficult on the last one for me. Just something I need to practice. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, E, and that sounded cleaner than I did it before. So let's try to get it from that F sharp. So we got. Just want to do that a couple times. So really. All right, this will be a little sloppy. Let's try to do just right hand at first. And 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 E and 1. See, I can't get back to that F sharp quick enough, but that's okay. We'll get this next time. 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 E and 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3. Let's make sure this 44 is not impacting that. Should probably give myself one more measure of turnaround, but we'll try this away a couple more times. I was starting to get it, which, whatever works for you for practice, whether you're doing small sections like this or bigger sections, it's whatever works, really. Sometimes I have more success with the small section, really can hear what I have to do. Sometimes, adding an extra 2 beats or 4 beats to reset all the time is nice. 3, 4, 1. Okay. Let's try left hand without, and then we're going to try to put that whole measure, or that whole verse together. So F sharp, we got this. So I feel good about that. I kind of wonder if I need to do this practice first, though, and use this E as a turnaround measure. We'll see. We'll see if this will do anything. So we're going to go. There we go. All right, let's try it. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and gotta keep that G sharp down. Two, 3 and 4 and all right, let's do the whole verse. Let's zoom out just a little bit. Probably wasn't enough, but that's okay. Actually, no, that is enough. Oh, I want to have one measure of turnaround again to always be able to reset myself. So this might be a little tiny on the screen, so deal with me, guys. We'll get it bigger down the road. And let's move this time marker. But let's do this at 50. Cool. All right. Probably should run this on our own first. 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 E wrong. Yeah, I did. So it'd be, I might need it one size smaller just so I can actually see what I'm playing. Yeah. Let's do that from the beginning. Okay, so we got the C sharp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and start over. Doon, doon. Doon, 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 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Now I gotta slow this down because it's not gonna be that fast, right? I kind of got into it for a second. Let's start that over. So let's hear 50 and 2 and. Okay, so that's the tempo we need to kind of get close to, right? And then put it together with the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C sharp 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C sharp. That's probably what I'm going to forget the most. Just thinking that through. Okay. We got the idea. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. So late on that, obviously. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm ending a little too late, obviously. I keep on saying, obviously ending too late, obviously. Let's speed this up one. Let's go 50. We'll try 54. See if I can hold it together. My forienda just needs to be quicker. Yeah, I can kind of hear that. I like to hold that guy. Because by the time I'm hitting this note, usually I'm hearing the click on that one. So that's where I'm like, ooh, that's not how it's supposed to sound. 2, 3, and 4, and. So rush at that time. 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and. So that was better. And actually, like thinking of those 16th notes before I have to play them, kind of a good little trick. Feeling good about this tempo. Might as well speed it up. I think fours is probably the answer today. It's going to get sloppy in a bit if we keep going up by fours, but, you know, we have the idea. Now, again, I have the added benefit of I've worked on this before, right? Didn't get it up to speed, but I'm not starting from scratch. If I actually was starting from scratch, we wouldn't be approaching this rhythm, nor having this idea kind of figured out. And you also hear on the slower tempos, it's easy for me to rush a little bit, right? Like, I know it's coming ahead. I'm like, I want to tell somebody that I know what's going on. I'll play it before I have to. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and... Got to keep that G sharp down. Timing was good though. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... That one was nice. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... Lift the G sharp up too early. All right, so I say this a lot. Like, I could keep on doing that for another half hour. That's like enjoyable for me to do. It's really not what needs to be done. Like, say it a lot. Set your intention on your practice. In my mind, it's getting this back into my fingers. Now I got it where I can be consistent. I rush every once in a while. I get a little sloppy on some parts. But the idea is there, right? So I could keep hammering that in, but I'm not going to have as good of gains. Like, I kind of like to think of practicing like the weight room. If I keep on lifting that same weight, I'm not going to get a bigger gain from it right now. Like, that's kind of the max of it. Now, tomorrow I will pick this up, and boom, it'll be at 58, 59, even a number that's higher than that, like 60. So taking that information, moving to verse 2, knowing that verse 2 is going to be a little clunky. My brain might be a little tired now that we're approaching like 40 minutes, right? But I don't know. This is the sprints of the exercise. We'll do something that, you know, throws you off a little bit. You're not as good at it. You just spend a little time on it, and then you wrap it up and call it good. So let's go back down to, let's go to 48. And just break this apart because it's been a couple weeks. So kind of zoom in back into like 1 or 2 measures at a time. It's a good way of approaching your practice though, like putting it all together, small parts. Put it all together, small parts. And if the first verse was worse, that's hard to say. If the first verse was worse, I'd spend more time on it. All right, and I might actually move a little bit because we got this. All right, so a couple little things. I don't want to play the staccato. I'm going to play the staccato. Until I get really comfortable moving, and obviously you're coming from just a difficult movement for me to make. So out of context, it might sound a little sloppy before I even skip that beat, which we'll do that a little bit. All right, so we have these G sharp, C sharp, E, G sharp, coming from this high C sharp, which we're going to play every once in a while. We're going to ignore every once in a while. So that's all they're doing. They're going G sharp, and then C sharp, E. and then they're going down to an E, and then they're just playing the rest of the chord up here, that A and C sharp. So it becomes this nice little trade-off. With the rhythm in it, we're always going to be skipping 1 and 3. 1 and 2 and 4. So a little bit slower than I was thinking. And 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... If you put the left hand with it, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Forgot the notes. Let's see if I can keep doing that. Let's get this C sharp in from top, just so I can get the idea of that movement, right? And then I can already tell you verse 1 to verse 2 is going to be a hard transition that I'm going to have to work on. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So oftentimes I'm feeling like so robotic as I'm playing that. And you're going to feel that same way when you're practicing these small ideas. And I'm not a very graceful piano player yet. So like it's easy for me to look robotic or play robotic on everything. More so on like this very like jumpy part. As we get comfortable with it though and you practice enough times, it's going to become legato. It's going to have this nice feel to it. Let's get this next measure down. And like I said, that transition between verse 1 and verse 2 is going to need a little love. We'll give it love later. I'm getting some love right now. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. You know, if you have any piano questions, I don't know much, but I can answer a couple. I've taught mostly like beginner piano a lot, which is kind of like the fun one because you get younger kids and they don't ask a lot of questions. They don't challenge your intelligence. So you're just like, oh, yeah, I understand piano a little bit. I understand the rudiments, the basics of it, but, you know, it's an older student where you're like, oh, I have to learn what I don't know and spend a lot of time practicing that. But, all right, so that E measure, right hand only. So we're going E and then B, sorry. B, E, G sharp, B. And then we're doing this little B, E, F sharp. A little bit of what I would call a flam. At some point I need to learn the actual term. Is that right? D sharp, G sharp, yeah. All right, so we got to figure that out a little bit better though. So we got this B, E, F sharp. I know there's a technical musical term. I don't remember what it is though. So I just use the drum term for flam, like multiple notes. And then down to a B, and then a D sharp, G sharp. That kind of movement's going to happen a lot. So again, worth our time. You see 2 measures down the road, it's happening again. Just getting that comfortableness with that, a little bit of a movement inside that chord. You can also hear on beat 3, here, let me highlight what I'm actually working on. So I'm working on this measure, right? So beat 3 and 3 and. Just doing that little bit of a difference in your rhythm messes up where I put the and. 3 and. So it's something that we just need to resolve, and we've got to resolve that at a smaller tempo. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. So I'm thinking of it like a flam too, which might be good, might be bad. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4 and now what's also difficult is at that same time on 4 we're moving from an E to a D sharp. So let's just walk that through. 3 and 4 and sounds really nice and rich, right? It's a lot for my brain. So let's do it from the E. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right. We're gonna try 48 and see what happens. 2 and 3 and so just left hand or right hand first and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We'll get it right now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. The idea is surely there. It just will need to be sussed out a little bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and playing the wrong note all the time. And 4 and 1 and 2 and. So I can just tell you right away for this part, I need to go. Let's go 3 clicks slower. And again, I might be like running to the end of my brain power. 48 minutes in on something that I haven't touched for a couple weeks is, it's a good amount of practice. I notice that if I push to an hour and a half, I can if I'm comfortable. I can if I'm warmed up. I can if I'm thinking well. But if I'm throwing a bunch of new stuff at myself, it's diminishing returns pretty quick. 1 and 2 and. So one thing I can suggest just to myself and to everyone else, like you heard me push with that metronome and it just wasn't comfortable, wasn't ready to put it together. Slow it down and get it to a place where you can hear where those beats are going. And try to get it to an actual like dun, 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 no matter what tempo it is, because then all of a sudden, like if you can keep being steady with it, you can start putting it together, right? It's when you can't play it in time at all, you're like, well, then I'm going to try to apply it to the metronome. Or if I keep running through this too fast, those things aren't going to help me. That's not going to help me either. My left hand wants to do something. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 So let's see how that compares to 45. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and so. Just to prove a point, and more for me than anybody else, right? Hopefully you guys can play this at 40 BPM quicker than I can, or 45. But I don't want to have to think about my left hand doing anything, and a slower tempo is going to help me just really like get that zone in. 2, 3, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and okay, just double checking. 4 and 1 and 2 and see, now my brain is like, no, you're done, my guy. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do not be too, like, again, I struggle with being like way too picky. Don't be too picky. Like, what am I trying to get down right now? I'm really trying to get a sense of flow. So later on, I can resolve the fact that I lift a hand too early, or a finger too early in this case. Those little things can get fixed. Sometimes those little things get fixed just by playing it over and over again. Sometimes they also get fixed by speeding it up. So that was good, though. All right, let's do, what time is it? Let's do one more measure. Let's just suss this one out, and then we'll call it a good day, and then kind of at least have the idea of verse 2 tackled. I think verse 2 and chorus are very, very similar. Yeah, a lot of the same ideas are going to go throughout. Maybe one rhythm change. So spending time on this is going to help you with that. All right, we got the C sharp E, and we're going 1 and 2. Oh, G sharp, sorry. C sharp minor. I think all those are the right notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so kind of similar to what we played before, just an octave lower. Different rhythmic ideas, but like going same notes, same note, notal idea, chordal idea. Yeah, let's put that together. So we got from the C sharp minor, left hand's doing this. So we got 1 and 2 and turn to the A. And then an F sharp. This is, so I probably have to break these measures down. What I like is that similar idea of that when I do the D sharp in my left hand, that D sharp's happening here as well. And then an F sharp. So from this E, we're going 1 and 2 and 3. Just that alone I need to work on. 1. Now, again, there's like a dynamic marking. Screw that right now. We're just getting the idea of the notes down. We'll add dynamics. We'll add the pedal in. That all can come later. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and got that little bit of a passing note. Then they're gonna move to that C sharp minor. Don't know what finger I'm gonna use yet. All right, let's try that just from that E and try to get that idea down. So I'll highlight what I'm working on. It's this measure right here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, oh, there we go. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I see my brain power depleting. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for checking it out. We're going to be working on this song for a couple days, as you can probably tell. But good first look again. So thank you for checking it out. And if you want to help support us making more of these, musicbythemeasurespro.com. We appreciate your guys' support.